see me asking for consent from Bella during the saddling process. Bella finds saddling very difficult, and mainly this comes from an historic experience where she had been saddled with very little regard. One of the main reasons for this escalation, and I see it often, not just here with Bella but in other horses that are in my care, is the unwillingness for us to allow them to move, to find relaxation and a moment of calm. Horses love to move. It is therapy to them. And when we're trying to do something, we park them. And when they do start fidgeting and moving, we immediately jump to the conclusion that they're being naughty or they're being awkward. They're not. They're looking for a moment of relaxation, and movement gives them that. It's therapy. So you'll notice through this video that I allow her to move wherever and whenever she wants, and I go with her. She's on the lead line, so she is limited to a degree, but I'm allowing her to move her feet, to allow her mind and her body and her feet to reconnect, so she can self-regulate. She can find that moment of peace. I'm keeping myself in her shoulder so that I am in the position of putting the saddle pad on. And when she comes still and starts to relax and lowering her head, I acknowledge that. That big shake out is like a reset. You can see her licking and chewing. And as she's engaging with me, then again she's lowering her head, finding that relaxation. Only then do I even think about putting the saddle pad on. And as I put the saddle pad on, you will notice her ears go back, so she's engaged in the process and she doesn't move. She is engaging with me and understanding that I'm there and that what I've just done, so she's not surprised by it. And at that point, we take a move off, and there's another head shake for resetting, rethinking, so understanding. She swaps sides here. I'm not too worried about that. We are just two beings walking. She's got an itch. She can scratch it. I'm not trying to micromanage her. I want this experience to be really good for her. I want her to understand that if she consents, it's on her terms, and that we can be a partnership throughout the process. Again, head shaking. It's all about resetting. It's all about understanding, followed by engagement with me. It's lovely. If you notice, I try and keep the lead rein slack with a smile in it at all times, so that I'm not pulling on her head ever. I'm not managing her. I'm not controlling her. She's following me. She's following me with indication because she's on the line, but it is a choice that she comes with me. There's no resistance. So I've gone over to pick the saddle up, and of course I'm on the wrong side of her at the moment. But she's walking quite calmly with me. As you notice, what I'm doing is I'm backing up and drawing her in, so it's allowing me to reposition myself. And when I do go down the left side, because obviously that's where I want to be, I'm watching for any blocks. And there's a block. She's turning her head. She's saying, don't come down here, not at this moment. So I stop, I wait for her neutral, another head shake, and then I put myself in position. That pressure has increased her anxiety slightly, so she takes a few steps. I'm going to allow it. And there's some engagement. And she takes a few steps, That's okay. I'm just going to continue repositioning myself. I'm walking with her. Just observing all these head shaking. There's no flies. And by lifting the saddle, that created enough pressure for her to take a few more steps. So I'm just holding it on my shoulder. I approach her, she takes a few steps. I'm happy with that. I'm asking her to come to a standstill. I want her to understand I'm not going to ambush her. I'm not chasing her with it. I'm not going to surprise her with it. Her head lowers, I place the saddle on, and she doesn't move, and she engages with me. She's looking at something. I'm sharing the moment. She's lowering her head. And most people think that that's it. That's the end of it. But everything from now on is equally as important. There again, she's blocking me. I'm just going to wait a moment before I go and take the stirrup down and the cinch. She takes a step. I'm not going to stop her. I'm walking with her. Giving her a moment to allow me down that side. She's blocking me a little bit, so I'm taking my time. Again, she walks off. I allow it. It's not ideal, of course. In the end, we would like her just to be stood still while all this goes on. But we have to start at the beginning with her. We have to let her understand that if she needs some moments, she needs some time. If she needs to be able to self-regulate or have the opportunity to self-regulate, I'm going to give it to her. Of course, when you have the saddle on, you have to be wary because you don't want it slipping and falling because it's not done up at the moment and causing any spooks or any damage or any injury. So I've just got hold of the stirrup so that I can steady it as she walks off. I'm allowing her all the time she needs to engage, to notice, to understand, to comprehend the process so that she's part of it. This isn't me saddling the horse. This is the horse and myself going through a conversation together where in the end the final phrase is the saddle is on her. But conversations are two-way, you don't, I'm not talking at her, I want to talk with her. And she can take as long as she likes to be part of that conversation. And again here, as I start the process of doing the cinch up, it's very slow. Just put the strap through the buckle at first, allow her to see and feel and understand. And she takes a step and I go with her. I don't continue the process until she has come to a standstill, has acknowledged and becomes part of it. Because this will, in the end, be part of getting on her. I want to be getting on a horse that is still, not one that is moving. It's not safe. So I'm asking her to be part of this process and consent within the conversation, so that in the end we both have the best experience. Now obviously you can't see from the angle, but I'm doing up the cinch hole by hole, very slowly, not over cinching. It won't be over tight. And again, you can see how loose the lead line is. I'm just asking her to follow me. I'm just drawing her in, offering movement, offering her space. And she blocks me again there. So I pause. And here I turn and walk backwards into that space, into that area, so that I am not confrontational. I'm not going at her. I'm reversing into her space so she feels a little less pressure from my presence. And here again, walking off, I'm going to walk with her. So that was part one, the consent in saddling. In part two, you're going to see a similar process, but this time we're going to be having a conversation about getting on and asking her to consent, collaborate, and be part of the conversation as I go through the actions and the movements of actually getting on her.